Good morning everybody, and let us continue our discussion on the tool holders. So, in the last class we have seen two different topics. That first one was the aerostatic spindle, and we have seen that aerostatic spindle are more appropriate for the micro machining application, or where the load is very small or a medium load condition. And then we started a topic that is on how to hold the tool in the micro machining center, because there are different standards available and many standards are not actually suitable for, or the many different type of configurations are not suitable for micro machining spindle, because we are working with a only fractions of micron or even a less than micron the tool run out, and that is sometimes not achievable in standards which are developed before the micro machining technology came up. So, now this is the slide which we have seen, that these are the three standards, the CAT, BT and ISO standard, and these standards are developed before the micro machining came into existence, or when there was not much discussion about that. So, these are the things. So, let us see that what are the problem associated with this particular standard, so that we can not use this thing for the micro machining applications. Right. So, these are the disadvantages, because now we know that this is our spindle part and this is our tool holder. So, now when the spindle speed increases, what is happening? The spindle shaft tend to expand due to the centrifugal force and the thermal effect, that is called the bell mouthing. So, this is the thing is called the bell mouthing. So, now you can see here, let us discuss this thing first. The now initially what was happening, that our system was completely fine. So, this was the initial thing, let us see. Correct. So, this was the spindle part and this is the tool holder. Yeah, so, this is the initial condition, but what happens when you start rotating at extremely high RPM beyond the allowable limit of this thing, then what was happening, that this particular shaft will try to, spindle will try to expand in this case. Because of that, what is happening, that you are getting one opening here. So, this is called the bell mouthing, that is the problem. So, now what is happening, that once this thing is there, now you have a space to go inside, because now you can see this particular face is also not in touch condition, right. So, you have some clearance here. So, whatever this clearance, that will be in terms of a fraction of millimeter to 1 millimeter or 3 millimeter, we will see that thing. So, because of that, now because of this opening, this whole thing will go inside, right. That is the one way. Or if it is not going inside, because now still there is a full contact here, then this whole thing will wobble here. So, this is the system. Now, your thing will be something like this, or it is something like this. So, if you find this total indicator run out, then this dial will move in this direction and this direction, right. So, because of that, you will get a run out. So, you will get a bell mouthing type of problem, and because of this expansion of that. Now, taper of the tool holder is drawn further into the spindle, because now what is happening, that the drawbar is there. So, drawbar is continuously holding this thing on this direction, because it is in pulling condition. So, if you are getting this part, then what is happening, that because of this pull, your whole spindle will go for that means your tool further will go inside it. So, this is the actual position. Now, after that, what is happening, that it will shift little bit inside, right. So, if it is going inside, right. So, now this is your position, it is touching and it is clearing this gap. So, this face is touching now. So, if that is whatever this gap, that much amount of Z is going inside it, and that is actually not, you are not accounting this thing for the machining purpose. So, what is happening here, suppose this is your workpiece and this is your features which you want to cut, and now consider this dimension is 500 micron depth, and then you are cutting a slot out of it. So, when this thing happens here, then what actually you want to go up to this, your cutting tool, this is the things which you want to reach to this location, but because of this things, because now your holder is going further into the spindle, then your tool is actually reaching at this location. So, this is your tool z axis now, correct. So, whatever is this phi here, whatever this going inside, that means how much is the inaccuracy in the z motion. So, that much actually inaccuracy you will get in the machining feature. So, whatever features you want to create. So, what is problem here, that initially when you are plunging it, at that time you will get the same dimension, right, because this is not happening from the starting, correct. So, initially, so this is the feature you want to create, but what you are getting at initially, suppose, because when you are rotating you may not get this thing instantly, that means after some time what you are getting, that you will get a this type of dimension. So, this is the dimension what you are getting, and then it will stabilize, right. So, because of this problem, what is going to happen, that because of that your dimension is, first thing is not complete, means it is not accurate as per your drawing. Other than that, what is happening, that measurement of this particular thing is also very difficult, because once you complete this dimension, then you have to measure this whole dimension by means of some high magnification microscope or some type of non-contact profilometer. And then what happened, that if you are thinking that this thing is not correct, and by chance if you have removed this component from the machine, because if you are doing this thing inline process monitoring, that means on the machine, inspection on the machine, then there is no problem, because you are not changing the location or anything. But if you remove and do some type of offline measurement, then fitting again to the same location is a big issue, because we have seen the fixturing also play important role, how much force you are providing for fixturing and what is the location accuracy, that creates a problem. So, ultimately sometimes whatever, it is better to reject this part instead of doing some type of repairing work on the top of brick, because that will be much easier than finding out that location and doing the same thing. So, because of this, what is happening, that you are getting a problem here. So, inaccuracy in the z axis motion also cause the tool holder to stick to the spindle, because now you can know, you see that initially there was a full contact, correct, right. So, this was the full contact here. So, consider this was the full contact, but now contact is this location only, right. So, now whatever friction you are getting in the full surface, now it is localized at one location only. So, whatever is the transfer of the motion from here to here, it is taking place at the very small location. Because of that, all heat will be generated here, and you will get a tool holder sticking to the spindle. That is further damage the part, because now you have to you have problem with the dimensional accuracy of the spindle to the north. So, whatever taper you have maintained here, the taper dimension is changed now, and that creates a huge problem at the later stage. This is the another thing, that this is the area where the small nick of the taper appear due to misalignment. So, now another thing is that by chance if your dimension is not exactly matching with this particular dimension, because spindle has one taper, and if your dimension of the taper on the tool holder is not actually matching, sometimes what happens, that it is sticking to the one surface only, not to the other surface, right. So, this is the problem when misalignment. So, now here the whole thing is shifted here, right. So, here in this direction mostly you will get a tool alignment like this, but here this is the axis of the spindle and this is the axis of the tool. So, now this is the parallel offset, this is the incline, or consider the incline offset. So, because of that, what you are getting, that now if this is the condition, if you continue machining with this thing, and by chance if it is sustained that, so you want to get a dimension of this diameter. So, whatever is this diameter, consider the 500 micron is the diameter, but now you can see that here that your tool is shifted to this location, because this dimension was calculated based on the considering that the axis of the tool tool holder or the tool and the axis of the spindle shaft both are coincide, but that is not happening here. So, instead of 500 micron, what you are getting a bigger than that. Here in this particular case, what you are getting, the mostly you will get a oval shape of hole. So, that is creating more problem in this case. So, both the way ultimately actually you are not getting the part as per your dimension. So, this is the problem with the CAD BT or ISO type of standard. right. So, now there is a one system that is called HSK. Now, so it is a new, not new, but comparatively new compared to this ISO standard, the other standard which we have discussed just before. A new DIN or ISO tooling standard has been developed with a particular application for high speed known as HSK. So, it is called hollow shaft, hollow shank shaft, something like that. It is a German name, but it is considered that the shaft is hollow and it is a hollow shank shaft. So, this is the system, and now you can compare this both the things, how these things are different than the earlier case. Now, differences are many, because first thing you can see that this much dimension is not present. So, it is almost half of the length of the this conventional, that is CAT BT or SKI chart of standard. Other than that thing is that once it is then the taper is also very less here. If you consider this both the things, taper is less, and there are some things which is very important or very different compared to this part, that it has a different type of contact surfaces, not only one contact surface. So, let us see that what things are there. Right. So, it is particularly used for high speed spindle used in the high precision machining centers, and HSK tool holders are retained in the spindle by a set of internal gripper located inside the spindle. So, what this thing is there? So, let me show you that video. Right. So, this is a HSK type of spindle. Now, you can see here. So, this yellow color is the HSK tool holder. Now, this is the set of internal gripper. Let me show you that. Let me finish this part. Now, this is the removing of this part. Now, this is the internal gripper. Now, if you see this particular part, so this is the internal gripper, and when it is going inside at that time, this particular drawbar component, it will actually expand and it will try to push this thing at this location, right. So, it has a contact here, this is the contact, this is the one contact, and not only pushing, after pushing actually it is drawing inside it. So, you will get another contact here. Okay. So, it has a dual contact. So, this particular HSK has the dual contact, and that is the advantage, that even if there is some type of misalignment here, your tool holder it will not penetrate inside, because it has a contact with the face also. So, this face contact will not allow it to go inside. Right. So, it is going down. So, when it is moving, it is compressing at that time, you can remove this particular part away from that, and then again it is now first it is going inside and then it is expanding. So, you will get a perfect connection between the two parts. So, this is the mechanism by which you are putting. So, either it is a pneumatically operated or hydraulically operated. So, that you can easily get the displacement whatever you required without any problem. Now, this is what it is doing. So, when it is pushing down at that time, this particular thing is actually getting compressed. So, when it is compressed, it is all things you can remove this thing away from the system, and then it is pulling back again. So, at that time it is pulling this tool holder also, and after pulling actually it will expand. So, it will touch the surface of the spindle system. So, this way actually you can get this thing done. So, let us see how this is important, means how which way it will create a good joint. So, that is the because of this internal gripper you are getting a good acceptance in the micro milling machines. Now, compared to contact, let us see how the contact happens, that is what is important. So, now this is the things between the V flange and the HSK spindle. Now, you can see that we have seen in that animation that it has a two contact here. So, this is the one contact and this is the other contact, but in this particular case we know that this stud will be pulled by this drawbar. So, when it is pulling back, you have to create one gap here, that is mostly it is considered the 3 millimeter gap between the spindle and the V flange, because if that gap is not there, then this pulling has actually no effect. That means, by chance if this particular when it is pulling and this thing is coming into contact first, before it is matching this particular taper, then you will get a wobbling motion in this direction and this direction, right. So, this gap will ensure that it has a full contact all over the taper direction. So, that is the advantage of keeping this part. But this 3 millimeter gap will create a problem, because now when this thing will expand, this 3 millimeter gap actually try to reduce, and then whole system will go inside of it. So, conventional V taper tool system makes contact along the fixed taper by a drawbar. Right. So, approximately a 3 millimeter gap between the tool holder flange and the spindle face is given here. So, only makes a taper contact. So, that is the problem here. So, it is a contact at the taper only, and that is creating problem. But HSK is the short taper which fits into the spindle. So, this is the only thing which is going inside the spindle, right. And here you can see that it is a very large amount of mass which is going inside the spindle. So, it uses a simultaneous feed between the shorter taper in the face of the spindle. Because of that, you will get a rigid connection. So, now it will not move in any direction, it will not go into the this direction also, because now this particular face will prevent this motion to be happen, and when it will not move in this direction also, because now this is also in perfectly aligned condition. So, in radial direction or the axial direction, you will not get any type of movement. Right. So, it has a dual contact between the spindle face and the taper. So, that is the things, because here you will get a only taper contact, but here you have a face contact and taper contact, both the things. Now, how you can compare the drawbar mechanism, that which way your drawbar is holding this part, because if you see this, our conventional holders are held into the spindle by a drawbar fingers that wrap around the outside of the retention knob and pull stud. So, now your drawbar mechanism is located at this location. So, when your clamping is done, then this whole thing is actually moving inside the system. So, because of that movement, you will get a contact with the spindle face here. So, this is the contact surfaces, whatever these two surfaces are given, that is the contact surface. Right. And HSK is a different thing. Now, we have seen in that case that it is not like that, it is not pulling any side. So, first thing that your all that gripper is actually going inside it, then actually it is pulling, and then it is expanding. So, it has an internal gripper here. So, here it is an external gripper, because whatever it is pulling through the stud, and stud is located outside of that part. And here what is happening, that it is the inside of this part, and then it is expanding. After going inside, then it is expanding out of it. So, it is called the hollow shank. So, that is because of that name, that hollow shank shaft. So, that is the HSK part. So, it has a finger which reach inside the hollow shank, and because of that, what is happening, that you will get a merry-go-round effect in the drawbar. So, what that thing, now consider that you have a mass here, and this is the string, right. So, this is the mass, and this is, and now you rotate this thing. So, when you rotate this thing, this whole thing actually go into the outer dimension, because now this thing will go here, that depends on the RPM, and then it will go away and away. So, that is called the merry-go-round effect. So, here, but merry-go-round effect is very good here in this particular case, because it is actually drawing from inside this, because this word is very important, because if it is going in merry-go-round, then what is happening, that actually your those things whatever is here, now you can see that your contact is here, correct. So, it is an inside contact. So, what is the advantage, that if whatever the RPM you are rotating, your contact actually further it will actually stick to the surface, it will not expand, but here things are exactly different. Whatever things are here, so this is your spindle part. So, if this thing is expanding, then what is happening, that you will get a loose connection, but here if it is expanding, you will further get a strong connection here. So, that is the big advantage of this thing. That means, even more you go with the higher speed, more it will actually retain, or more it will firmly grip with the surface. So, that is the advantage, and that thing is called the merry-go-round effect in the drawbar fingers. Right. So, as RPM is increased on the HSK tool holder, the drawbar finger actually use become become a tighter connection on the inside of the flange and increase the pressure onto the spindle connection. So, this is the advantage of using this particular part, because whenever you will get a higher RPM, your drawbar will push this particular part, and wherever it is a centrifugal force action or the thermal expansion, everything will actually make this thing more strong. And here those type of thermal expansion or centrifugal force, that will actually adversely affect in the conventional tool holder. So, that is the difference between these two different systems. Right. So, now what are the comparison summary between these two systems? So, this is the taper ISO BTO standards, whatever we are thinking, this is the HSK tool holder. So, first thing is the one surface contact here, and here you will get the dual surface contact. So, that is the big advantage. Low axial accuracy, because now we know that we are getting a shifting in the Z direction. So, whatever is the problem because of this misalignment, everything will be reflected mostly onto the Z direction, and if you compensate with the Z direction, then again it will create a problem in the X and Y both the things. But here you will get the higher axial and the radial accuracy, because you have a dual contact on two surfaces. Relatively low stiffness here, because whenever you are putting a load on the axial direction or the radial direction, what is problem, that you are getting a deflection, or because the whatever is the contact here, that is friction contact only, or that is also on the one surface. So, because of that you will not get the high stiffness on the part. So, here you will get the higher stiffness, because it has a static and dynamic both stiffness is high compared to this particular system. Not suitable for high speed, and because it has outside clamping, that what we have discussed is just now, that whenever the outside clamping, what is happening, that at high speed the centrifugal force and the thermal expansion both thing actually adversely affect there, but this thing is actually suitable for high speed because it has a inside clamping. So, this inside clamping will actually make your system more and more strong when it is rotating at a high RPM. And another thing is that the large mass and the stock is there. So, that is also creating problem, because you have to remove this particular thing very quickly, and that is also you need a higher speed also, because when your mass is high, then rotating at a high RPM, it is also creating problem, and every time you have to provide more amount of stroke here, because when your automatic tool changer is removing the things from here and you are putting something different, at that time it have to pass through a very large amount of distance in the Z direction, but that is not the case here, because we have seen in that figure that the length is almost a half of the length of the normal this conventional thing part. So, that is that you can actually get the faster change as well as the higher speed, both the things are possible in the HSK tool holder. And the problem here, the possible run out due to the taper fitment, because when you are making this thing, at the time you have to make sure that the machine the spindle taper is exactly matching with the tool holder taper. If those things are not matching, even a fraction of micron here and there, that will create a run out directly to the tool. So, because first thing is that we have three connection, we have seen that from spindle to the tool holder and tool holder to the tool. So, if any of these things are not actually making a perfect connection, then everywhere you will get the run out. So, these are the differences between the two systems, and mostly because of these particular differences we have we can think that only HSK is the best suitable for the particular application in the micro machining. So, now we have discussed till now that there are one is the taper contact, that is in conventional thing, and HSK it has a two contact, right. One is that the taper surface and another is the flange surface. But there are some very customized tool holder available where there have surface has three contacts. Now, if you see this particular system, now it has a three contacts here. As the one contact is obviously the face part, and there are two contacts at two different locations. So, these are the three things. So, what happens because of that, you will get three surface contact for improved stability and the accuracy. So, that particular things will optimize the clumping force dissipation and interference speed, provide the higher stiffness. So, when this is mostly used when you are doing a very high speed machining and the under the high load, that means when you are machining hard material with a high depth of cut or something, that means it is an aggressive machining part of thing. So, HSK is still useful, or it is still fulfilling all our requirement for the micro machining, but this slide is showing here because there are not only two surface available, three surface contacts holders are also available, and that is one of that particular part. Now, what are the advantages here? That it has a 3 surface contact, and we know that more the surface contact, more it will become a stiff. So, here it has a very high static and dynamic stiffness, because now you do not have any chance of moving in x, y or any z direction. And static and rotating application, mostly wherever you are using this particular part, it has a very high demand for this part, and it has the highest maximum speed. So, whatever RPM you are rotating, still it will fulfill that requirement. So, these are the advantages of using 3 surface contact, but this mostly is very useful when you are doing a stock machining. That means, when you are doing a high speed cutting, or when you are doing a normal machining operations, where the material is very hard and you are not able to get those things by that CAT, BT or ISO standard. So, that is the advantage here. Now, here if you see this particular chart, it is a torque versus the bending moment. That means, how much torque you are providing and what is the bending of that particular tool holder. So, here these are the different tool holders showing, and these are the different operations. Now, if you see these particular things also gives you many things. Then now, if you see, this is the drilling area, right. So, now if you say the bending, you will not get in the drilling, because we know that in drilling we are just mostly actually pushing into the thing. So, your torque requirement is very high, but you will not get bending at all. But if you see this particular end milling operation, now we know that in end milling what we are doing, we are pushing it down and then we are moving in this direction, right. So, when your tool is going down, at that time you will get thrust force, and when you are moving, at that time depending on your feed rate and the depth of cut, you will get a different bending moment. So, end milling has a highest area, that is in terms of the bending moment. And now, what is important here, that you can see that this whatever we are discussing here, that is actually here at this location. Now, you can see that it has a very large amount of area through which it is creating a bending moment. So, it can sustain for a longer period of time, and these are mostly whatever we are talking here, the 7/4 taper in first contact. So, it has a very small thing, that is small bending moment at this location. So, by this way, in our HSK whatever we have discussed, it is folding at this location, but still it is useful in this, because these are very customized thing, and mostly it is used for the high speed machining and the very hard machining, where the material hardness is very high. At that time you have to actually maintain the bending moment and the stiffness into the machine tool. So, this is the third contact. So, let me finish this lecture here, because our part related to the component of the machine tool is mostly over by this particular time. We will see that what things we will discuss in the next class. Thank you very much.